Hey everyone, I'm Mel and this is episode 1 of Finding Sound, which is my fortnightly vlog that I'm doing to document my singing progress and also to show that with a little bit of work, everyone can sing. So I've got notes so that I keep my story in order, and I just wanted to give you a bit of context as to how I got here before I go on to my other videos. So I have loved singing for as long as I can remember. I can remember recording a song on a tape recorder. It's like this big, for my grandma in Philippines. I think I was like 4 at the time, singing about being a big girl. And it was around Christmas, funny enough. And yeah, I just love it. It makes me feel alive and it just feels right. It just feels so good to do. So I've always known that I've loved to sing, and being, I suppose, Filipino as well, half Filipino with a 15th of Spanish, as my husband will remind me. Most Filipinos love to sing, so perhaps that had something to do with it. But in 2005, my dad died, and I had a bit of a wake-up moment at age 15. So when I turned 16 in 2006, the following year, I actually opened a business. And for about almost 10 years, I did nothing for myself. I just worked, because businesses take a lot of effort to set up and to keep going. So as much as I loved that, and I loved the process of working a lot, I did not have great work-life balance. And so yeah, I decided after 8, 9 or 10 years of doing nothing for myself that I was going to start taking lessons. So I started half-hour lessons weekly, and the weeks went on and I really loved them. It was super fun to do, and it just felt right and quite freeing to be able to sing. And then after a few weeks or so, my voice started hurting as I spoke, so my throat started getting sore, and it kind of kept getting worse and worse until the point that I lost my voice after almost every singing lesson, and this was only a half-hour lesson. And my job, the business that I opened, requires me to speak all day, every day. For 8 hours, I'm just talking. So I use my voice a lot. And not being able to use it after going to singing lessons, which were on a Monday afternoon, so I had the whole evening of sessions to teach, and it scared the hell out of me. Just with the fact that, you know, I might not be able to work, and that this thing that I love doing so much was actually starting to hurt me and become quite bad. So I knew this wasn't right, and I think it was after about 3 months of singing like this, I headed down to see a speech pathologist that specialised in singers, and also she worked with an ENT, so they put a scope down so they put it up your nose and down your throat, and then they ask you with the scope in there to sing through your range. So from as low as you can go to as high as you can go, which my range at that time was pretty bad, to say the least. It was really, really limited, and yeah, it was terrible. Anyway, what this scope found was that, because it's pretty much a camera that looks down your throat to see what your vocal folds are doing. And it found that my throat, first of all, had no nodules on my vocal folds, which after, I don't know if it was before or Adele had her surgery, but I found out what vocal nodules were, and I was really glad that I did not have them. So cleared of that, nothing actually was wrong, but when I was singing, I didn't have to go far in my range until my throat started what I now know as constricting, but kind of closing up and tightening. So I would get really stiff and sore and tight through my neck and even underneath my jaw after my singing lessons. And this all made so much sense after I had the scope, because it showed that my singing technique was really bad and that I was actually singing and squeezing my throat muscles rather than using my folds properly. So after that, after I got the all clear, the speechy actually said to find a different teacher. But after such a traumatic experience, you know, singing and going through hurting my voice and just, you know, losing my voice, and it just all was a big saga. So after all of that, it kind of just turned me off the whole thing, and I thought maybe I am just destined not to sing because I had such a terrible first experience with trying to find my sound and trying to develop my voice. And so I just left it. I channeled all of my energy into the business and yeah, gave up singing for a bit. Didn't really intend on coming back to it because it was so traumatic. And yeah, that was until one day I was in Melbourne, and I just remember sitting at the hotel and the sun was on my skin. I was sitting in the window, it was at Ridges, and I just remember feeling really happy, and as they do, a thought popped into my head and I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could sing again? And so picked up my phone, Googled singing teachers Melbourne, and found a few different places, but I got onto this lady's website where, you know, I read her story and she had actually had a similar experience to me, you know, a really bad first experience of singing where you use the wrong technique and your throat tightens up and just snowballs from there. So anyway, I texted this lady, and in February 2017 I had my second series of lessons with her. So yeah, after not singing for ages, I had my first lesson with this new lady and it was fabulous. I then started fortnightly Skype sessions because I live about 10 hours away from Melbourne, 10 hours drive. And so there's just no physical way that I could be there weekly to see her. And yeah, I've been doing fortnightly lessons ever since. Skype lessons have been great, by the way. I know a lot of people say that you might not be able to hear the tone or the quality of the sound to be able to correct it, but it has been amazing for me, and it's given me the opportunity to be able to work and improve on my voice, which I don't have access to, you know, locally where I am. So yeah, her approach was to build the voice and to build it from foundation up and to train in good vocal technique. And that's in speaking and in singing, because apparently it's the same voice, it's the same sound production. So slowly but surely I started to build confidence again in my voice. My throat constriction was like, it felt amazing in comparison to what I was doing before. And I was just doing basic exercises, little warm-ups to take the pressure away from my throat muscles and my neck muscles and my jaw. And I noticed that in my work, as I was speaking, I present at workshops a lot, and my voice just started to heal and get better and better. To the point that I find now that I'm quite confident in my singing and in my speaking, and I'm getting notes that I have never thought that I would even be able to achieve. Like, I'm singing way higher with no effort, and that sounds like pompy, but when you try to reach for a note and you're trying to sing high, most people do try and reach, which was my thing. I would reach up for the note and try and grab it, which would strain my throat, and it just feels like a lot of effort. So when I say it's effortless, when you use the right technique, you can actually get those notes without having to strain your voice, because you're using the right stuff. And it fits in so well with what I do for a living, because it's all about using the right muscles to move more efficiently. And singing is exactly the same. We end up tightening our throat to try and reach for notes that are there if we train in the right technique. So yeah, her approach really worked with me, and I've been doing lessons for almost 2 years now. So February 2017, it's now January 2019, and I'm really glad that I did, because my voice is so much better than I could have ever imagined that it would be. I didn't ever know that you could train voices. Like, I knew you could, sounds a little silly, but I thought that people had, another way of saying it is, I thought that people just had good voices. I thought that you were born with talent, and that Pink and Adele and Celine Dion are just born with beautiful voices. And don't get me wrong, there absolutely is a lot of talent involved with singers. However, like I heard the other day, Pink talking about going to singing lessons when she was like 6 years old. So there is a lot of work and vocal training required to be a good singer, because you have to train technique in for the most part, because I do know that Freddie Mercury, I don't think that he ever had any formal vocal training, and he had like 4 or 5 octaves of range in his voice, which is phenomenal. But yeah, there are a few amazing people like that, but I don't think that that is, in my opinion, the norm. Like, everyone can actually sing, and that's what I've learned, and that's what I'm hoping to inspire as well with this YouTube channel, because my ear with singing was terrible. I couldn't hear any notes. I still can't hear a lot of notes, and I actually started learning the piano to be able to train my ear a bit better. So yeah, I was not a great singer to start off with, so this channel is not only to document my progress, but also to inspire you to not give up and, keep persevering. Because if you love to sing, it is possible. It's not this thing that you're born with a good voice. You can sing better, you just have to work at it. So I'm a little sad that I don't have my videos from the last couple of years, because where I was then is nowhere near where I am now, and it would be fabulous for you to see, because I think it'd be encouraging for you to see where I started, and how bad I was to where I am now, and just to see the progress. But anyway, I'm really happy that I've started it now and that I can capture everything going forward. And yeah, I think that's me. So that's how I started. If you would like to hang out here and follow my journey, then you can hit the subscribe button, which is up here. You'll see my face, and you just click on it and hit subscribe. If you want to do that and hit the subscribe, you can also leave me a comment below. So just say hi, just pop a comment down there and say hello to me, because I would like to meet you. yeah, I think that's it. If you want to stick around, I'm actually doing my next video right after I record this one, which is going to be on the vocal warm-ups that I do just to warm up my voice every time before I speak, every time before I sing, and before I present workshops. So if you would like to hang around for that, then I will put a link in this video just above here. So you can click on that video next so that you can see my warm-ups. Yeah, I suppose I will see you there at the next video. Bye.